Hi, guys. So, I'm going to go out on a limb tonight and try something completely different. This isn't mountain bike related, and I could definitely see the potential for this being YouTube suicide. But a friend of mine challenged me to answer these 7 questions. These questions are meant to be answered on 7 consecutive nights, but for the sake of time, I figured I'd get them all out of the way all at once. As I said, I realize that this is out of the norm, but my friend challenged me, and this friend is my closest friend on the planet Earth, and he means the world to me. And so, out of respect for him, I decided to go ahead and answer these 7 questions. So, the first question is, who are you? Well, first and foremost, I am a very proud Christian. My name is Chris. I am 44 years old. I am the father of 3 beautiful girls. I have a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 19-year-old. They are absolutely amazing kids, and I love them with every ounce of my being. And they challenge the hell out of me every single day. I am a recovering alcoholic. I have a little over 2 years of sobriety, and I'm pretty proud of that fact. I have a progressive neurological condition called hereditary spastic paraplegia. I am starting to get into mountain bike, YouTube and Instagram creator. I'm having a hell of a time with that. That's a lot of fun, and I've met some amazing people. The mountain bike community is pretty awesome. I'm a friend. I am a coworker. I try to be that person that is always there for somebody in need, and I take a lot of pride in that. And that's pretty much who I am. So the second question is, what is the greatest lesson you have learned from your mother and father? Well, my real father committed suicide when I was about 2.5, so unfortunately I never learned anything from him. My mother was not a very good person, and she was an even worse parent. Unfortunately, I kind of followed down that same footpath for a while, and so obviously I didn't learn too much from her. The only thing I ever learned from my stepdad was how to take a punch, and that's about it. The next question is, what do you do for a living and why? So I work for a company that does digitized 3D models of the cut fill estimates for the excavation phase of construction projects. The short answer is I tell people how much dirt to move and where. Basically, when a company is getting ready to start a construction project and they need to know how much it's going to cost them to prep the site and do excavation for it, they call my company, and we give them pretty accurate numbers on how much dirt they're going to have to move to start their construction project. The why is so this job fell into my lap about 2 years ago, and I've never looked back. The owner of the company and his wife are incredible people, and they have both done more for me than I can ever repay. I also work with a great group of guys that make each and every day a lot of fun to go to work to. The job itself is very challenging. It's difficult. It makes me think, but it's so rewarding at the very end when I look at a 3D model of what I've just created and I see the construction site, and it's pretty rewarding. Question 4 is, what one thing have you never told anyone? To be perfectly honest, there is not one thing that I have not told at least one person. I've always been a pretty open book, and there's not one thing that I can think of that at least one person does not know about me. I'm pretty certain I have told at least one person about at least one thing that I have done. Question 5 is, what is your greatest fear and why? My greatest fear is that at some point I will not be able to walk. My condition is a progressive disease. It is getting worse, and at some point I will not be able to walk. I've always wanted to, be able to walk my kids down the aisle and participate in my kids' lives. And at some point, I would love to be able to run around and play with my grandkids. And I've always been active. I played junior high, high school, and college football. Now I'm starting to get into mountain biking. And the idea that someday I'm going to be confined to a wheelchair is absolutely terrifying. Question 6 is, what are you really good at? Well, I'm really good at being able to talk to anyone at any time, anywhere. I'm not intimidated by people. I don't get shy around people. I am the person that tries to make everybody laugh. I take a lot of pride and satisfaction in being able to get a laugh out of somebody that I can tell is having a really bad day. I feel that I have a very empathetic heart, and I'm very caring, and that is what I am good at. So the final question is, if you could have dinner with one person, alive or dead, who would it be and why? Well, as I mentioned earlier, my father committed suicide when I was 2.5. And if I could have dinner with anyone, it would be with my father. I would love to sit down and talk to him. And I think the biggest thing that I would want out of it is I would simply ask him, was it worth it? So there you go. I answered the 7 questions. As I said before, I realize that this is pretty out of character, and it's obviously not mountain bike related. But my friend challenged me to answer these questions, and out of respect for him, I decided to accept his challenge. So there you go, Scott. I answered your 7 questions.